Hi everyone, welcome back to another Martin's Home and Garden Houseplant of the Week. This week we're talking about a super popular plant called the Scindapsus Treubii Moonlight, also sometimes referred to as the Scindapsus Sterling Silver. These guys are native to Southeast Asia and they do have a trailing growth pattern, making them perfect for a hanging basket or a macrame plant hanger. These guys get their name from their really unique silver looking leaves. They almost have like a kind of like a shimmery sheen to them, making them really unique and different looking compared to a lot of other houseplants. They are closely related to the pothos and monstera family. They oftentimes get kind of lumped into that category of being a pothos, but they are their own species. These guys are super easy to care for, much like a pothos, and they are toxic to humans and animals. So that is important to know. If you have little hands, little paws at home, these guys might not be the best option for you unless you can keep them out of reach. But if you are interested in these guys, we're going to show you how to care for this super trendy plant today. The first thing we'll talk about is the lighting requirements for these. These guys prefer a bright indirect light. You should avoid direct sun for these at all costs. They will burn the leaves fairly quickly. They will also do pretty well in lower light conditions. I have mine at home in a north facing window and it does really well. It's already trailing. If your plant starts getting really leggy, like you notice the spaces between the leaves are starting to get farther and farther apart, you might need to give your plant a little bit more sunlight. So putting it close to a window. Coworker gave me a good analogy for a bright indirect light, because a lot of people don't know what that means. Your plant needs to see the sky, is the tip that he gave me. As long as it can see the sky, that is bright indirect light. No direct sun, but make sure it can see that sky. But yeah, that is really it for the lighting requirements. We are going to move on to the water for these guys. These guys need to dry out all the way between waterings. So what I mean by that is the top 2 inches of soil. If you put your finger down in the soil up to like your middle knuckle, make sure that you feel no excess moisture. It feels completely dry, bone dry. They do not want to sit in too much moisture for too long. If their roots get really soggy and they stay moist for too long, they do run the risk of getting root rot. And root rot looks like kind of brown, splotchy spots popping up on your leaves. And if you notice that, and they're not crunchy, they're soggy, then you should check out your plant's roots. If the roots are really soggy and they pull away from the root ball really easily, that is root rot. So cut all of those bad roots off, give your plant new soil, and then change your watering habits and water your plant way less. Also making sure that whatever container you have it in has a drainage hole is one of the other best ways to prevent root rot as well. And then another thing with watering is you do want to fertilize these plants in spring and summer. I love a granular fertilizer. I recommend this one in almost every single video, but that is just because it is that good. This is the Osmocote outdoor and indoor fertilizer. It's a granular, so you put it in the soil whenever you repot your plant, or even on the top of the soil around the base of the plants where the leaves come out. And then when you water it, it slowly releases into the soil. These guys make it super easy to avoid over-fertilizing your plants, and you can avoid burning it that way. And also you don't have to mix it every time you water. You can kind of set it and forget it. So I really love these. Put it down in the soil once as soon as spring starts, and then again in the summer. And then you should be set till the next year. So that is that for fertilizer. The next thing we're going to talk about is humidity. This guy is a tropical plant, so they do love humidity in their native habitat, but in your homes, they do really well without too much humidity. They're not super picky. So just your average air-conditioned environment is going to be just fine. If you do, however, want to increase your humidity, it will have some benefits. Increasing humidity can make the vibrancy of your leaves increase, and it can also deter pests and encourage faster growth. We do have a whole video on that. It will be linked right above me right here on how you can increase humidity in your home and why it is important. But yeah, these guys are super easy when it comes to humidity. Don't have to worry too much about it. The last thing we'll talk about today is the soil for these plants. For these guys, you want a super well draining soil. Like I mentioned before, they don't want to stay super soggy too long, so having a well draining soil will help to avoid that as well. What I would recommend is a soil that has lots of perlite and peat moss, This one is a really good option. This is the Fertilome Ultimate ready to use potting mix. This has a lot of perlite and a lot of peat moss mixed with a regular soil as well. Very good for these plants. If you don't have this and you already have your own indoor mix at home, you can mix peat moss and perlite into your soil and make your own soil mix. So this is the Espoma Organic Peat Moss. This would be an excellent choice to mix in with your soil to increase drainage for these plants. That is all that we have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed this video and get your hands on one of these super popular plants while you can. And we will see you guys next week. Bye!